Vinny, who are some of the coaches that might influence your coaching style, and how might they do so?
That's a pretty broad question, but I'd narrow it down. I've had great discussions with Doug Collins. He actually told me to tell you hi, by the way. Told me you were a good guy. So I talked to him yesterday. But a lot of coaches, I think, if I name them all, but obviously, Greg Popovich, I talked to yesterday. Danny Ainge and Doc Rivers, and I talked to Rick Carlisle and Nate McMillan, and I mean the list goes on and on. But George Karl and Bob Hill, and just a tremendous amount of coaches that coached me, or I've known for years, or played with, or whatever. And I think you're not doing yourself justice if you don't take a little bit from all those guys. So believe me when I tell you I'm pretty thorough in my preparation for these interviews, and those guys mean a lot and have helped me tremendously in my career as a player and as a front office executive, and obviously now as a coach. So I'm going to use a lot of those things. I'm not going to implement them all. I'm going to have my vision and my feel, and I'm going to know the team the best. So I'm going to know what I feel works the best, and I'm going to make those decisions. That's my job.
Vinny, Tom Scher from TSM Media. Usually jobs in a market this size with a team that has stable ownership, they don't come open very often unless there's a real mess to clean up, and that's obviously not the case here. Would you have been as interested if the situation weren't as it is here? And secondly, you've had a lot of experience in the game as a player and working, I think, out of uniform. What have you learned? What one thing do you take into coaching? Something that comes to mind when you think about your years in the game.
The first thing is absolutely I would have wanted the coaching job with the Chicago Bulls, no matter what players were here or what the direction of the team was. I think my comfort level, like I said before, is once I sat down with Pax and Jerry and just had that comfort level. That's very important. But there's tremendous challenges either way. Obviously, I feel a lot better having the roster we have and having the #1 pick. There's no question about that. And there's going to be challenges. It's very difficult. And the other thing is I look at this and I say to myself, what an opportunity. For them to put the trust and everything in me. I don't want to let them down. It basically comes down to that. Once you get to know me, you'll know what I'm about better. And for Jerry and Pax to put the trust in me like that, I don't really worry about myself, to be honest with you. I really more about, doing everything I possibly can to support Jerry and to support John in terms of their decision here. Because for them to think outside the box and to think and put me in this position, obviously, I want to, give back to them in any way I can and get this team moving in the right direction.
Anything you've learned either as a player, your father's years in the game, or anything like that comes
You always learn. Like I said before, I think if you're remiss if you don't take things from the coaches I've had and the strengths that they possess and try to recognize their weaknesses. I think that's important so I can kind of guide myself away from some of those weaknesses. But it's not a perfect science. And like I said, there is unpredictability in it. But that's what makes it exciting. And that's what I'm looking forward to the challenge is trying to get everybody on the same page as quick as possible. But I've had so many great people in my life in the basketball world, in the basketball and outside. But in basketball, I've just been very fortunate on the teams I've played with and the coaches I've had and the support systems I've had. And through this process, it's really opened my eyes even more to all of the people out there that I respect and have given me their knowledge and their trust. And, you want to reciprocate and you want to do a good job and you want to respect them in the right way. And I don't have any problem with those things. And, the process has already started and it will continue to start on a daily basis.